Solitary confinement, which I believe is torture.
It was actually introduced by the Quakers as a noble experiment in rehabilitation. There was a belief that you could put a prisoner in his own solitary cell, freed from the evil influences of modern
Bro, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know this. And I talk about prisoner rights all the fucking time. I did not know that the original inception of solitary confinement came down from Quakers. I thought it was just straight torture. I thought it was like medieval torture. And this was just another version of that.
Society. And if you put them in that cell, they would become like a penitent monk, free to come close to God and to their own inner being, and they would naturally heal.
By the way, this is the reason why Norway has a no extradition policy to the United States of America. If you're a United States American criminal, okay, and the government asks you, you made your way to Norway, the government asks, please extradite this criminal to the United States of America. Norway believes that it is a human rights violation to extradite prisoners to the United States of America because the conditions are torturous. Good question on why Snowden isn't in Norway. I didn't say all prisoners. Okay? When people's immediate reaction is solitary confinement for minor infractions should never happen, but some prisoners like child murderers with life sentences deserve the torture of solitary confinement and worse. What you're failing to recognize is you're literally justifying the system because solitary confinement started off with that. Okay? I mean, or in its original application, it was for people who were like, you know, doing the worst fucking crimes or whatever. And it's continuation of that structure. It's continuation. The usage continuation is justified through the edge cases that you bring up. There is still plenty of instances where there's wrongful convictions, which means that is wholeheartedly unhinged. Similar principle to capital punishment. But also, what you're describing is vengeance. It's not justice. Justice, as I say all the time, is supposed to be about ensuring that a crime doesn't happen ever again. This violent action doesn't happen ever again. A part of that comes with restitution and rehabilitation. Rehabilitation implies that no matter how awful a crime is, that the perfect solution is about the perfect solution revolves around ensuring that that person never commits this crime again. The punitive focus in our criminal justice system is the reason why we have such a problem with crime in this country. Who draws the line on what crime deserves the harshest punishment? Well, you can't. That's precisely why solitary confinement is utilized in this way. That's the whole point. Violence to the perpetrator of violence does not solve anything. It doesn't even help heal the person who was a victim to said violence. There's also a huge gang issue in prisons. We got to find solutions to address that in order to create a safe environment for rehabilitation. Yeah. Again, if the conditions of prison is bedlam, where they literally simply have the gangs control damn near the entirety of the prison in order to create like some level of organization, you're not going to be able to do that. People often forget, and this is due to deliberate propaganda dehumanizing prisoners in this country in order to justify our carceral state, which also has a profit incentive baked into it because capitalism. But people often forget that prisoners are humans. They're just like you and I. Some of them are horrible monsters, sure, but a lot of them are just human beings that are responding to stimuli. Okay? They are obviously unable to escape their material conditions. Now, once they're in prison, that reality doesn't change magically. So, if you behave like these people are no longer people, their personhood has been taken from them, okay? If you act like that's gone, and you treat them like this, well, they're going to be more violent, and integration is going to be impossible. That's why I have a lot of respect for people who have gone through the prison system and are normal humans that have been able to reintegrate into society. Like, friend of the show, Jeff Woodek. That comes to mind immediately. Surviving Los Angeles County Jail is no simple feat, in my opinion. That's why I let him cut my hair, even though he has one eye. All jokes aside, a person that has opportunity, a person that has not some, but all of their immediate needs met for humanity is not going to go out and steal Kias, right? Little kid who has school and after school programs and a future, an economic future, and perhaps even a crumb of upward social mobility carved out for them, not going to go out of their way to do crimes. Okay? Or even if people with positive futures engage in crime, society rarely ever treats that as the same kind of crime that a black kid does when they're growing up in the hood. Same principle stands in prison as well. If you offer people in prison opportunity, if you offer people in prison humanity, then the likelihood that they will continue doing crimes when they get out into open society, free society, diminishes. There is really good evidence for this reality when you look at recidivism rates in other countries. This is a bit of a meme at this point, but other countries like Norway. The entire purpose of the criminal justice system is not to make people suffer. Okay? That's why they call it a correctional facility. The purpose of a criminal justice system is to keep the rate of crime low. But when you're focusing on punitive, vengeance-based injustice that you consider to be justice, all you do is create more criminals. Or you make the existing people that have done a crime become more rugged criminals. In order to survive in the current carceral state, you literally have to do more crime. In order to survive in the prisons, in most prisons especially, I can't speak for all prisons, but in a lot of prisons, you have to literally join a gang. That's it. It's like your only mechanism of survival. And when you join a gang, you have to do shit that is more criminal. That's the only way that you can survive prison. You have to join a gang and then do crimes. It's insane. The only reason why gangs exist in prison is for this purpose. That's bullshit. No, not gangs in the same. Okay, motherfuckers that literally went and did a brief stint in a federal prison for like 30 days are going to come at me now and be like, that's not true, bro. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? I know motherfuckers that were locked up for insider trading, and I know motherfuckers that were locked up in county jails for, worse shit. If bad conditions in prison and jailing worked, the USA wouldn't have so much crime. Exactly. It's a human rights violation through and through. But of course, nobody gives a shit because we have dehumanized prisoners in this country. Make it seem like if you are convicted of a crime, you don't deserve any rights whatsoever. And that attitude is reinforced through every facet of society, through every facet of existence. That's it. There's no way to fix that problem. And even in an understanding, empathetic community such as this one, this subject matter comes up regularly and people fucking pop off with immediately, like the immediate counters of, oh, what if it was your mom that was raped? Like, wouldn't you want the person to go to perma jail and get fucking destroyed and all this shit? What if it happened to you? And it's like, it's revenge brain. I shouldn't make legislative decisions on my own personal anger that I feel. That's not how it's supposed to work. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. And there's a real reason for why this revenge-based reactionary sentiment is so powerful in America. And the real reason is actually more nefarious, I guess. It's to justify slavery. When you have successfully depersonalized, dehumanized criminals across the board by pointing to some of the worst aspects, by pointing to some of the worst criminals to justify all matter of torture that they are subjected to, you create a process where, you know, a living, breathing, existing plantation like Angola can continue using the same name, operate in the exact same way as it once did, and no one bats a fucking eye. I am, of course, referring to Angola, which happens to be the plantation turned into the Louisiana State Penitentiary. The plantation was also called Angola. I think you guys understand why the plantation was called Angola. Right? If someone, but you're right. If someone did unspeakable things to me, I want them to get mental help and reform and never do it again. I never want to see them again, but not in a locked away forever in torture, just away from me in distance or something. Yeah. He said, I don't know. If your mom was raped, I think you wouldn't want a system that encourages people recommitting crimes. No, exactly. That person, I don't think this person is saying something that is against what I'm saying. Yeah, no, it comes across as contentious, but you're misunderstanding the point he's making. He's agreeing with me. Because currently, the draconian, punitive carceral structure is one that actually does encourage people to recommit crimes. The current carceral system encourages reoffense. Exactly. It makes rehabilitation impossible. Anyway, before I end it on this note, because I'm going to run the last 3-minute ad break here, I wanted to talk about one prisoner who unfortunately will not be giving us a motherfucking mugshot. That prisoner's name is Donald Trump. Turns out I am the bearer of bad news. Donald J. Trump is not going to be offering us a mugshot. Which is kind of sad. He's yeah, they're cucking our content. He has tweeted a bunch of shit, including, wow, District Attorney Bragg just illegally leaked the various points and complete information on the pathetic indictment against me. I know the reporter, and so, unfortunately, does he. This means that he must be immediately indicted. Now, if he really wants to clean up his reputation, he will do the honorable thing and, as district attorney, indict himself. He will go down in judicial history, and his Trump-hating wife will be, I am sure, very proud of him. He utilized the very common technique called the Uno reverse, also known as Know You. And honestly, I'm very excited to see more of this. I'll tell you what. I think that's great. And I will see you tomorrow. Possibly early. I have not decided. I've yet to decide. But I'll see you tomorrow regardless. Bye, everybody.